What's up, guys, and welcome back to Phoenix Garage. In today's video, we're going to be throwing some pod lights on the Scrambler. Let's get right into it. First off, I just got these cheap nightlight pods. I literally paid like $10 or $11 for these things. They come with this bracket, and I initially got a different bracket to connect it to the bars right here, but I have another idea, and I think it's going to work a little bit better. It's gonna look a little bit better. I like the way it looks, and I'm actually gonna use this harness that I still have left over from the last fit LED bar right there. I'm gonna use some of the wiring on this, and then I have these connectors, these waterproof connectors that I'm gonna use to connect it to the light system. So let's get over here, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. So initially, I was gonna put some bar clamps on here and attach the lights like here, but the way the clamps are, they're angled like this, and it just doesn't work how I want it to. So what I found was this aluminum guard here that protects the radiator. It has a big piece of aluminum over here, and there's a screw right here. Now it is just a screw, but it goes through this aluminum, through a bracket, and then into the actual frame of the four-wheeler here. So my idea was, I'll get this bracket. It's got one mount right here. I'll find a bigger bolt or something to go through there, connect this bracket there, and then the light will be sideways, but it'll actually fit up underneath here, kind of more along the lines of how I want it to. So that's literally what I'm gonna do. And I actually already found some bolts in my little junk bolt area. These are just some hex heads here, and they're longer than these screws, and they fit in there and they thread in there pretty easy. So that's literally what we're gonna do real quick. I'll bring it down here a little closer so you can see. I'm just going to literally unscrew this Phillips head here. Just comes right out. And then I'm gonna take our bracket. So I believe it doesn't matter which way these go. I want these facing this way though. So the bracket will be right here. This plastic piece may be in the way, so I may have to bend it back. But you can see in there, there's a little like metal thing that it threads into, and then it actually threads into the frame of the four-wheeler. And so here's the original, and here's what I'm putting in there. It's a little bit longer, heavier. So let's see if it works. Hopefully it does. I think it will. I don't think we'll have a problem with it. Oh, I was also going to throw a lock washer on this thing so that it doesn't come undone. And if I have to, I may throw some blue Loctite on it, but I don't think we'll have to. So let's get this on here. Let's kind of get it into there. Once I get it started, I can align this thing up. Okay, it's through the little bracket system, and now it's actually threading. If you can see, it's hard to see in there. It's actually threading into the frame of the four-wheeler. So, but I'll throw it back over here so you can see. So it gets pretty snug. I mean, I haven't even like torqued this down at all. It just keeps going in. I mean, that's pretty tight. So I could even go a little tighter, but I don't want to go too tight and strip it. I mean, I'm pretty happy with how snug that is. So now we literally can take this light and it'll slide in here, and we can slide it out and angle it exactly how we want in here. And I think this is gonna look cool too. And it can, you know, these brackets, you can have them slide up and down. So I think what I may do is kind of measure where it'll sit best on here. Almost better if it's like down like this, I believe. I think it'll look good with it down the farthest instead of up. I mean, I could put it up here to be tucked in, but I think I like the way it is down. Not that far, kind of right there. So is that where I want it? I want it just a scotch up. So kind of like it's hard to see on here, like that. And then you just tighten this little thing here, which they do give you an Allen key for. So let's see, tighten that sucker up. That's kind of where we want it. And then they give you all these little screws, this packet here, to screw your things in like this from the top. Now, I don't know if you have to add 4 screws to each side. I'm assuming, yeah, you probably do. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It's just threading them in here. It may be a little difficult up top, but we'll get it done. And it'll kind of squeeze this clamp on here. And then you can slide it, like I said, and angle it how you want. I may do mine a little bit more out, but I'll bring you guys back after that's attached. Okay, I got this one on. I haven't fully adjusted it yet, so I'll adjust it a little bit once I get all the wiring done and I can kind of position them, but it's all connected. I like the way it looks. I couldn't get this nut under here any tighter, so it's still kind of, you can move it up and down. I'm not too worried about that. Hopefully the vibrations don't, like when you're riding, don't knock it down too much, like tilt it down. But basically gonna copy the same thing on this side. It took me a little bit longer than I thought it would because there's 4 screws and they're kind of hard to get to, but let's just get that side done and then move on to the wiring. All right, here are the lights on there. They're a little uneven. I still need to adjust them a little bit. Angle them out. It looks like that side's a little bit higher, so I may need to lower it a little bit. Yeah, it's definitely, and they need to be twisted and centered, but I can do that afterward. Now I'm going to try to wire them and like run the wires up through there and then hook them up. So our light bar is hooked up to this side of the harness, and this is the other side, and we're going to need brown and green. Yellow is high. We don't want the high. So we're gonna snip these off, and then what my plan is to connect those to this waterproof connector and then connect to this side, or this side, doesn't matter, one or the other to the lights. So the lights right now, I think this side is gonna I'm gonna try to fish it in kind of right here. Yeah, it kind of comes in no problem right here. And the other side is gonna come up from the bottom under here, right, I can see it, where's that, right here. So it's right here. It looks like it's gonna be a little bit more difficult, but I am going to attach some extra wire to these things. I do have wiring. I may not even use this other harness because the wire is so much thicker than this, but I do have some extra wiring, so I'll get that right now. This is the wiring I'm gonna use. I can't remember if this is like 16 gauge. It should say on here. This is 18 gauge, so it's pretty thin wire. I'm gonna go ahead and use some more of these little solder connectors. I'm just going to extend the harness for each of these lights. I'm gonna extend it up here so I have a little bit of room to work with. A little bit of wire and room to work in here anyway. And then we'll move on. Okay, so I extended the harness that goes to this side because it was a little short because it was coming from the bottom and not the top. And then essentially they met right here in the middle, and I connected each one together with these little soldering things. And then I'm gonna connect it to this waterproof harness, and then I'll cut these off and connect it to that. So that's essentially where I'm at right now. Okay, so I wired up the 2 lights together and then wired it up to the waterproof harness here, the little connector, the connector to the green and brown, which is the low beam and the negative, and then that's it. Now it turns on whenever you turn your low on. So basically I'll have a low and high beam. So there's low, there. What's happening there? My switch is messed up there. There's low. There's high. Low, off, low, high. I don't know what's wrong with that switch there. But essentially, there's our lights. does not want it. The light, this little thing doesn't want to work. But anyway, and what I eventually want to do is put one of those connectors up here that when you turn on the high, the low beams stay on. But whenever you're just running around, those lights will be on, which is kind of cool. So now I'm done. The lights are on, they're all wired and connected. It's pretty easy actually, the way I have it on there. You don't have to do any drilling, cutting, or anything, so that's kind of nice. Everything's wired up. I will adjust the lights a little bit. They're not adjusted correctly how I want them to, but I'll do that later. I'm gonna throw the hood on, and then I'll probably throw some B-roll footage in, and that's probably gonna be it. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of this one. Links for all this stuff, the lights, the wiring, the little harnesses, the solder connectors will all be down in the description down below. You want to help support my channel, we use those links. These lights were only 10 bucks, so I mean, for $10 you can't beat them. I've used Nightlight before in the past. And they've turned out pretty good and they've lasted a while, so comment if you like these things, let me know. Like the video and consider subscribing. If you want to help support the channel a little bit further, consider becoming a member, 99 cents a month. Early access to my videos, and sometimes I'll post a video once a month or twice, who knows. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good one. Bye.